Yeah, this is fence 25, it's Burghley Station, and this is definitely one of the bigger fences on this course. It is a monster. After probably a few smaller fences in a row, we're back to really up to size, and that front rail really comes back at you a bit. I think this fence I think is as big as the Jubilee Leap that we saw earlier on, but it's got that front rail, so even tougher I think, and I would not want to underestimate this fence. Very big white timber. It's very obvious fence, but gee, it's wide and gee, it's tall. So a lot of respect. Also, off quite a steep hill here, so really getting your horse back, but heaps of power because you got to get them jumping out, you got to get them jumping up and out. So a nice ride here, and really thinking in your hand, heaps of power, get them really confident, because don't forget we're almost up to 10 minutes of being on this course, and so they're getting to be tired. They've gone up and down a lot of hills, they've done a lot of galloping, and then just another big fence, you know, and so we're thinking real organisation here, make some effort, and then hopefully if you get a nice ride here, it'll be fantastic, it'll be a nice feel, and you'll be all set up for the water jump, one of the main fences on the course, which is coming up. This is 26, this is the water jump, they call it the anniversary splash. Look, it's probably dimensionally, it doesn't look like the biggest fence on the course, and you know, it probably isn't, but as always, the water jump will play a big part tomorrow. It's interesting, this fence, that as you can see, the log in, it's set out just over the water. There's a little gap between the edge of the bank and the log. Seems to be a bit of a theme this year in England, having logs set out over water. They jump quite well. They give you an opportunity to really attack the fence. The other thing we know is quite narrow, this log, which we don't often see into water jumps. So it will be interesting to see how that rides. And obviously the little archway over it, just creating a lot of visual effect with this jump. So there's plenty for the horse to be distracted by, and of course tomorrow there will be huge crowds around here. So but same breath, they're up to 10 minutes. Horses probably don't have much time or inclination to get distracted by this stage. They're tired, they're really focusing. If you've gotten here well, they're probably quite focused. So we're thinking, after that big jump up there at the station fence, we're thinking gallop, gallop, you know, don't waste any time, but then set up. I would say still everyone will be riding quite strong over this log. Want to really jump out, don't want to leave your stifles on that log, and then really positive across the water. It's a lovely base in the lake there. And up over fence 27, which is a little house / beehive type thing, wider than it initially looks. You've got to really walk up to it and see, just to see how wide it is at the back. Really requiring lots of power up that little hill onto the island. And once again, then back over into the next lake section, back through the water, and then we're looking up, and we'll get to it a bit later, but that fence 28, lovely sailboat, beautifully designed. All the fences here just so beautifully designed, so beautifully built, and such attention to detail. But you know, it probably, once you get to there, if you're focused and you're keeping your attention, you keep the horse's attention, you'll probably pop over that sailboat. So yeah, biggest work to do is at this fence 26 and 27. This is fence 29, it's the Jubilee Leap, and you wouldn't believe it, it's another ditch brush. It really must have been running out of ideas at this stage of the course, because you would have thought we might have seen something different. Haven't actually worked out what the point of this fence is yet, other than just being a galloping fence. It's smaller than the one we jumped a bit earlier. It's off quite a nice line. Once again, a turn to it, right hand turn this time. Probably most of the riders will be staying inside these trees here, really trying to keep up with the time. And middle of the fence, be organised, get a good ride, lots of canter, gallop over it I think, and just see a nice distance and carry on. I don't think anyone will be wasting too much time with this fence. Who knows, we might see the odd problem, but I wouldn't expect too much trouble here tomorrow. 30 and 31, this is a bit of a nod towards the London Olympics next year I think, in the athletics with the hurdler. Basically these three related fences, both it's a related distance, 2 strides and 2 strides, on quite a steep turn. We don't see this sort of turn very often, but you really can't get out and ride straight through. You have to make this right hand curve through 30 AB, and then which is quite a long 2 strides, and then a little bit of a shorter 2 strides to 31. So interesting playing with the distances there too. Most notable thing about this fence really is that after a lot of galloping fences, a lot of sort of open oxery type fences or wide spread jumps, we've got back to verticals, and they're quite tall, and we're really 3 jumps from home. So coming into the main arena, there's a bit more of a busy atmosphere through here, so we really want to get the horses focused on that top rail and just a little bit backed up, really sitting on their bum a bit, so that the worst thing that can happen here is just to be a little slack, a little bit disorganized, and just, you know, tip a horse over one of these elements. Like, each one of these fences will be very important. So you'll jump the first one, sit up, re-ride the second one, sit up, re-ride the third one, because at this stage of a course, you can't leave a horse to do it on its own. You've got to help them, because they've done a lot for you, going, you know, what is now 11 minutes really. And so, yeah, that's the hard bit. I tell you what, if you're getting here though, you'd be starting to think you're going well, and you just be like, concentrate, focus for the last few fences and get it right. Fence 32, the flower frame, 2 fences from home. This is the second to last, so really an important fence in that you just don't want to make a meal of it. It's a big fence. It's another big Burghley fence, and in this course, if you're getting here, you've jumped 31 other massive fences, and this is just another one. You must get it right. For me, I'm thinking organisation, but then the worst thing here is that you tend to try to take the reins and take a little bit of a feel on them sometimes, and they just sort of die on you a bit, and then you get to these big fences a little underpowered. So really, you've got to be thinking, keep the energy up, but keep them in the hand, because the worst thing here is the horse is starting to get low and a little heavy, a little on the forehand, and they just drag you in there, and you end up a little deep, and terrible things have happened to good riders and good horses at the last of the second last fences. So you never treat anything lightly, especially at a 4-star. And I tell you what, this one, given the width of it, the height of it, I tell you what, I will be making very sure that I do a good job of it. Okay, this is fence 33. It's the last fence, and it is an exciting one if you happen to see it on the back of a horse. Really, what are you looking for here? You've looked at your watch all the way since fence 32. You have been keeping an eye on your watch, and if you're down on time, then you're galloping hard, and if you're doing it easily, well, you're just sort of relaxing a little bit, probably taking in the view, waving to everyone as you go by, and hopefully still seeing a distance to the last fence. Look, it's a little trickier than it could be. It could have made it a bit easier. Still got these trees in the way, and it's a bit of a maze to get to. But I think that, you know, almost it might help you, because there's nothing worse than those long runs to a last fence where you can see it a mile away and you think, I'm going to gallop to it. At the turn, it should help you out a bit, and pop over that and get to the finish line, and you'll be stoked. If you've done it clear and you made the time, you'll be extremely happy. And look, it is a sensation of you, and it's all what Burghley's about, is the magnificent park and the house and everything that goes on here. Look, it's fantastic. It's a lovely course. I'm really excited to go and jump it, and hopefully it all goes well tomorrow.